Okay guys. So another accounting video again, another day. Another sakit ng ulo na naman po tayo today. So ngayon, let's talk about earnings per share. So before that, balikan lang natin. Ano ba yung discussion natin nung last video discussion natin? We've talked about book value per share. So refer ka na lang doon sa discussion natin ng book value per share. Pero sinabi natin doon na yung book value per share is yun daw yung value ng each share over the total asset after deducting all the liabilities. Kaya meron tayong formula doon, tama? That is the total shareholders equity divided by the total outstanding shares. Okay? Pero ngayon, dito tayo sa earnings per share. So, anong difference? Doon sa book value per share, ang hinahanap mo is yung value nung prop or yung value nung share or yung amount or yung total value ng share. Okay, magkano na yung total value ng share? Magkano na yung valuation ng share? Magkano na yung share ng isang tao, isang stockholder doon sa hawak nilang isang share over doon sa total business ng company? Yun yung book value per share. Sa earnings per share naman dito, hahanapin natin daw yung earnings. Magkano daw yung earnings ng isang ordinary share? Ulitin natin. Sa book value per share, ang ina-identify mo doon, magkano yung value ng share over sa total asset or sa total equity ng isang company. Total asset after deducting all its liabilities. Magkano na yung value ng share niya? Dito, magkano daw yung na-earn nung share niya? Okay, so that is the earnings per share. Or, okay, ito naman. Isa-isahin natin yung definition. It measures the earnings. So dito, we will talk about net income. Sa book value per share, yung numerator mo doon is yung total shareholders equity. Dito, yung numerator natin is your net income. Kasi ang hinahanap ka natin, yung value or yung income na na-earn ng isang share. And dito sa earnings per share, usually ang hinahanap lang natin is for ordinary share. Preference shares, hindi natin hinahanap ang earnings per share ng preference share. Bakit? Kasi usually, ang earnings per share meron niyang fixed return. Tama. Merong fixed return yan each share. So yun na yung earnings per share niya. Hindi mo na kailangan computin yung earnings per share niyan. Which is usually evidenced by a certain fixed percentage. Tama. Doon sa mga video discussion natin, doon sa book value per share, and doon sa shareholders equity natin, lahat ng dividends ng isang preference shares, yun yung share nila sa net income. Tama. The dividends. And that dividends is usually evidenced by a fixed return. Fixed percentage yun. So hindi mo na kailangan hanapin yung earnings per share. But in some instances, in some cases, we need to compute for the earnings per share of a preference share if such preference share is considered as a participating preference share. So yung participating preference shares na yan, we've discussed all about that in a detail dun sa discussion natin sa book value per share. So refer ka na lang dun sa discussion natin ng book value per share. Okay? Okay, so dito tayo ngayon. Sa earnings per share, dalawa yan. Okay? Dalawa yung discussion natin sa earnings per share. Hahatiin natin yan into two parts. In this video discussion, we will talk about the basic earnings per share. Okay, computin daw natin yung basic earnings per share. Yes, basic lang talaga ito. Pangalawa, hanapin daw natin yung diluted earnings per share or the diluted earnings per share. Okay, so basic earnings per share muna tayo Dito muna tayo mag-focus sa basic earnings per share. So what's the formula? Meron daw tayong formula dito na hindi mo kailangan kabisaduhin. Basta alam mo lang yung concept. Concept ulit ng earnings per share, anong hinahanap mo? Yung total earnings ng ordinary share. Kung total earnings yung hinahanap mo ng each share natin, then we will go out for a profit or loss. Okay, yung net income mo, i-less mo yung preferred dividends. Ay sir, bakit ko i-less yung preferred dividends? Tama, yung preferred shares natin may priority with regards to dividends. Bigyan mo daw muna lahat ng dividends ang preferred dividends bago ka magbigay ng dividends sa ordinary share. Saan nang gagaling ang preferred dividends? Sa profit or loss. Sa net income during the year. So dun sa net income during the year, bago mo mahanap yung earnings ng ordinary share, ay ibigay mo muna yung earnings ng preferred dividend. Kung ang hinahanap mo dito is earnings lang ng ordinary share, tama lang na alisin mo yung earnings ng preferred dividends dun sa total net income ng company mo during the year. Okay, kaya nabuo yung formula na yan. Profit or loss or the net income less the preferred dividends. Divide it by the weighted average number of outstanding share. O outstanding share din yan. Pero dito, kailangan mo na daw mag-weighted average. O, mamaya meron tayong discussion dyan with regards to the weighted average. Paano tayo mag-weighted average? Kailangan mo yan dito sa FAR and syempre sa AFAR natin. So ngayon, we have 3 steps in computing the earnings per share. Number 1, okay, kailangan mong tandaan ito. Okay, usually hindi siya step talaga. It's rules. Okay, 3 rules na kailangan mong tandaan with regards to earnings per share. Number 1, your profit or loss must be net of income tax. So ibawas mo daw muna yung income tax. So kapag binigay sa given profit or loss or the net income before income tax, o kapag binigay yung tax rate natin, i-less mo muna yung income tax natin. Paano sir pag hindi binigay yung income tax pero net before income tax? O gagamitin mo na yung net income mo before income tax. Hindi naman binigay yung income tax rate, hahanapin mo pa ba? Huwag na. Okay, so that's number 1 rule. Profit or loss, dapat net of income tax yan. Pangalawa, yung preferred dividends daw natin dito, dapat daw, yung ibabawas mo na preferred dividends dito is number 1. Alam mo na to, sa book value per share natin, dalawa yung dividends mo. It can either, or preferred dividends mo, it can either be a preference share, it can either be a cumulative preference share, and a non-cumulative preference share. Kailangan mo ngayon siyang i-differentiate sa discussion natin sa book value per share and sa earnings per share. Okay? Dito sa earnings per share discussion natin, or topic natin, kapag daw cumulative yung preference share natin, we deduct preferred dividends for 1 year only. Regardless kung nag-declare ng dividends or hindi nag-declare ng dividends. Kapag naman daw non-cumulative preferred dividends, we deduct the preferred dividends only if nag-declare ng dividends. Tandaan mo yan. Kapag cumulative, 1 year lang. Pag non-cumulative, mag-declare ka or magbawas ka ng preferred dividends if nag-declare ng preferred dividends. Kapag sa book value per share, tama, kapag cumulative book value per share, we deduct the preferred dividends kapag in arrears, lahat ng years na hindi nabayaran. Pag 3 years yan, yung preferred dividend mo during the year times 3, yun yung ibabawas mo doon sa total shareholders equity. Pero dito sa earnings per share, kahit na 3 taon nang hindi nabayaran, yung ibabawas mo lang dyan is yung 1 year lang. 1 year lang pag cumulative. Kapag non-cumulative, magbabawas ka lang kapag nag-declare. Kapag non-cumulative sa book value per share, tama, nagbabawas ka doon kahit na declared man or hindi, pero 1 year lang. Kapag cumulative, magdideduct ka in arrears. Kung ilan man yon, 3 years in arrears. Okay? So, please refer ka na lang sa book value per share, the discussion natin. Meron tayo dyan sa playlist natin. Sa financial accounting and reporting playlist. Okay? Basta tandaan mo na lang, pag earnings per share, cumulative, 1 year lang ang ibabawas mo kahit na ilang years kang hindi nagbayad or ilang years kang hindi nag-declare. Pag non-cumulative, magbabawas ka lang kapag nag-declare tayo. Okay? Preferred dividends. And number 3, meron tayong reason dyan. Bakit nga? Bakit sir? Bakit 1 year lang? O kasi nga dito ang hinahanap mo, net income, yung earnings per share. Ibig sabihin, yung net income last year, ibinawas mo na yun last year. Okay, so dito, ang kailangan mo lang ibawas kasi is yung share ng preferred shares natin this year. Okay, this year lang. Number 3 step natin, outstanding share must be average. Yun, dapat nga i-average natin yung outstanding share natin. And paano natin yung ina-average? Dalawa yung method natin dito, which can be used either of the two. Okay, kung ano yung masanay ka, parehas mo namang gagamitin yan. Kung ano lang yung masanay ka, parehas mong pwedeng gamitin yan. Kung ano lang yung mas nakaugalian mo or nakasanayan mo, yun yung gamitin mo. Ako mas nakaugalian ko ito, pero pwede mong gamitin ito. So what's the difference? Ganito mo lang yung ina-average. For example, January 1. January 1. For example, January 1, meron kang outstanding shares of 100,000. And nung November 1, nag-issue ka ng additional share of 20,000. So, paano mo gagamitin itong method natin na to? For example, January 1 ito and November 1 ito. Ilang years or ilang months yung nakalipas? Ilang months ng outstanding yung 100,000 natin? Ilang months ng outstanding yan? 12. So, we multiply it by 12 divided by 12 months. Kaya times 12 over 12. Itong November 1 natin na to, ilang months ng outstanding yan? From November, December, that's 2 months. So, multiply mo yan ng 2, divide mo yan ng 12 months. Okay? Kung kukompetin natin yan, that is equal to 100,000 times 12 over 12. That is equal to 100,000 also. O, 20,000 times 2 divided by 12. This is equal to 3,333. Total natin dito, pag inad mo yung dalawa, that is equal to 103,333. Ito yung total weighted average outstanding shares natin. Gawin natin ngayon dito sa second method natin. O, let's assume parehas lang ng data. January 1, 100,000, November 1, 20,000. Yung January 1, i-multiply mo yan sa kung ilang months yan outstanding bago nagkaroon ng movement yung share. Kaya dito, movement lang yung minumultiply mo dito sa mga months. Ito, 100,000, yan yung movement mo. 20,000 nagka-movement ka, minultiply mo yan dito. Pero dito po kasi, cumulative tayo. Cumulative. And kung papansin mo, dito 12 over 12, dito 10 over 12. Bakit ganun? Kasi mag-i-stop ka dito sa numerator natin kung after or the moment na magkaroon ng additional movement. Tandaan mo, nagkaroon ng additional movement ng November 1. So sa pag-count natin, stop ka ng November 1. So that is equal to January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 11 months, stop ka ng October. So that is equal to 10 months. Kaya multiply ka ng 10, divide ka ng 12 months. This is equal to, magkano to? 100,000 times 10 divided by 12. That is equal to 83,333. O ngayon dito sa November 1, cumulative po tayo. Cumulative, hindi movement. So magkano na yung cumulative outstanding shares natin by November 1? That is equal to 100,000 plus 20,000. That is equal to 120,000. Tapos ilang months siyang outstanding? 2 months, November, December. Wala ka namang movement ng December. So times 2 over 12. That is equal to 120,000 times 2 divided by 12. That is equal to 20,000. I-add mo 20,000 plus 83,333. 103,333 which is the same lang dun sa number 1 natin. So gamitin mo lang kung ano yung mas nakasanayan mo pero parehas lang yang tama. Okay. So yan na yung kailangan mo tandaan sa earnings per share. Eto, pahirapan ka lang ng konti nito. Kapag daw meron tayong stock rights. Okay, kapag meron tayong, what is stock rights? Sabi daw, stock right, nagkakaroon daw ng stock right, or nagkakaroon tayo ng stock right if daw, in-exercise daw yung preemptive right. Ano ba yung preemptive right na yan? Yan yung right ng mga stockholders natin to buy additional shares the moment na mag-issue siya ng shares. Parang ibig sabihin lang nito, si corporation daw, bago daw yan mag-issue ng shares sa public, i-offer daw niya muna yan sa mga existing stockholders nila. Bakit daw? Ano daw yung purpose? Para daw yung 10% na stock or ownership ng isang company, kapag nag-issue ng additional 20,000, para lang ma-retain yung 10% na yun, pwede siyang bumili ng additional 200 shares. Okay? Or 2,000 shares. So yun lang yung preemptive right. Ito lang yung right ni stockholders to retain such percentage. Kasi kung nag-issue siya ng additional shares, hindi na magiging 10% yung dati niyang share. So para mag-retain yung 10%, i-offer mo daw muna yon sa kanila. Okay? Para mabili nila or para ma-retain nila yung 10% nila. Ngayon dito, sabi daw, kapag daw merong preemptive right, usually, yung exercise price is normally less than the fair value of the shares. Ibig sabihin, kapag nagbigay ng stock rights, usually, yung exercise price or yung price na ibabayad ni stockholder sa kanila is usually mas mababa doon sa total fair value ng shares. Therefore, it includes a bonus element. Nagbigay ka ngayon ng bonus sa stockholders natin. Okay, which that must be adjusted by adjustment factor. So, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng adjustment factor with regards to the stock rights. So, paano mo yan sinusolve? Meron ka daw formula. Your formula is equal to the fair value of the shares selling right on, divide it by the fair value of shares selling X right. Anong difference? Fair value of sharing right on, ito yung fair value ng share mo bago mo i-exercise yung right. Okay? Ito yung fair value shares selling X right, yan yung fair value ng shares mo after mong i-exercise yung right. Which is para mahanap mo yung after fair value rights na, or yung fair value after exercise of right natin, we use the theoretical X right fair value per share. We use that theoretical X right. And ano yung theoretical X right natin na yan? Ito tayo ngayon. That is equal to your aggregate market value of the shares before exercise of right. Okay, yan lang yung total shares natin. Okay, bago mo i-exercise yung right. Plus mo daw yung proceeds na marireceive mo sa exercise of right. O magkano ba yung marireceive mo dito? O yun lang daw yun. That is equal to the total. Okay, divide mo lang daw ng outstanding shares after exercise of rights. That is equal to the fair value of your X right. Okay, memorize mo lang yung formula natin na yan. Or, pwede mo siyang gamitin, or pwede mo yung computein gamit ito, which is the fair value of shares right on less the value of one right. That is equal to the fair value of X right. O yung fair value of shares right on, usually given yan. Ang hahanapin mo ngayon, yung value of one right. And paano mo hinahanap yung value of one right? That is equal to the fair value of shares right on less the subscription price. Ito lang yun, yung exercise price. Divide it by the number of right to purchase one share plus 1. Okay, so yan for stock right. O medyo nalito ka, ang dami mong formula. O mas mabuti, i-apply na lang natin yan by answering these illustrations. Okay, kalma mo lang ha. Ikalma mo lang. O, sagutan muna natin yung mga basic illustrations natin. Illustration number 1, sabi dyan. Jet Company provided the following information for the current year. What is the average number of shares? O, hanapin mo lang muna yung average outstanding shares natin. O, January 1, nag-issue ka ng shares. O, gamitin muna natin yung dalawang method natin dito ha. Okay, gamitin muna yung dalawang method. So, January 1, nag-issue ka ng shares. 200,000. So, January 1 to December, ilang months yan? 12 over 12. So, that is equal to times 12 divided by 12. Tapos, April 1, nagkaroon daw ng 12 for 1 share. Okay, no, hindi yan 12 for 1. Okay, this is 2 for 1 share. Okay, nag-issue ka daw ng 2 for 1 share split. Ibig sabihin, yung each share na meron ka na begin as of April 1, 20x1, pinalitan mo daw yung isang share nila ng dalawang share. So ano ba yung, magkano ba yung total share mo as of April 1? Ito, 200,000. So ibig sabihin, itong 200,000 natin na ito, i-multiply mo yan by 2. Dito ngayon, wala tayong gagawin dyan. Next, July 1, nagkaroon ng issued share of 100,000. So, ilang months yan? That is equal to July, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That is equal to 6 over 12. Ito ngayon, tatandaan mo na lang para hindi ka nalilito. Kapag meron tayong share split and meron tayong share dividend, these are applied retrospectively. Ibig sabihin ng retrospectively, lahat ng shares mo as of this date, i-adjust mo lahat yun. From this, dito sa illustration 1, nagkaroon ng share split up ng April 1. Lahat ng existing shares mo before April 1, in-adjust mo. Times 2 mo. Before April 1, times 2 mo. Yung July 1, hindi mo na kailangang i-times yan. Kasi it is assumed na naka-share split na yan. Okay tayo doon. Kaya ka nag-times 2 ngayon dito. O magkano ngayon ito? 200,000 times 2, that is equal to 400,000. And this is equal to, yung shares issued natin, 100,000 times 6 divided by 12, that is equal to 50,000. Your total average share sa illustration number 1 is nasa 450,000, which is letter B. O, di ba? Yun lang. Madali lang. O, illustration number 2, para more practice tayo. Hindi pala. Gamitin natin yung isa pang method sa illustration number 1. O, sulat ko lang dito. 200,000 and nasa 100,000. Okay. Movement ito movement. Ito, cumulative tayo dito. Cumulative. Okay, sa cumulative natin, ilang months outstanding ito bago gumalaw. O, ilang months outstanding bago gumalaw. Kailan yung next issuance natin? July 1. So, from January, February, March, April, May, June, July, wag na sa July. 6 months tayo doon. So, this is equal to times 6 divided by 12. Times 6 divided by 12. Tapos, nagkaroon ka ng share split. Retrospective times 2. Tapos nagkaroon ka ng July 1 times ilang yan? July, August, September, October, November, December. Hindi naman gumalaw ng December. So that is equal to times 6 over 12. Pero take note mo, hindi 100,000 yung i-multiply mo dito kasi cumulative tayo dyan. Magkano na ba yung existing right natin ng July 1? Meron ka ng 200,000 outstanding shares. Tapos nagkaroon ka ng additional share split up, that's 400,000. Tapos nag-issue ka ng 100,000 shares. So that is equal to 500,000. So yung total share natin dito is nasa 500,000. So yung cumulative share natin is nasa 500,000. Kaya ganyan mo yan gagamitin. So 200,000 times 6 divided by 12. 200,000 times 6 divided by 12 times 2, that is equal to 200,000. 500,000 times 6 divided by 12, that is equal to 250,000. This is equal to 450,000, which is parehas lang dito sa atin. Okay. Para sa akin, mas madali ito. Kaya ito yung ginagamit ko. Pero kung mas nakasanayan mo yan, okay lang naman tayo dyan. Okay. So for the succeeding illustrations natin, I will use this method. Okay, illustration number 2. Sabi sa illustration number 2, what is the average number of shares outstanding lang ulit. So January 1, ordinary shares outstanding 300,000 o ilang months yan? That is times 12 over 12. February 1, nag-issue ng 10% share dividend, retrospective yan. So magmumultiply ka ngayon dito ng additional 10% or ng 110%. Tayo dyan. March 1, nag-issue ka to ng ordinary share in a business combination. O parehas kasama naman yan. From March to December. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That is equal to 10 times 10 over 12. July 1, nag-issue ka to ng ordinary share ulit. For July, that is equal to 6 months times 6 over 12. December 31, nag-issue ka ng additional shares o ilang months outstanding yan? 0 times 0 over 12. So, kumpitin natin ito. 300,000 times 12 over 12 times 1.10, that is equal to 330,000. Next, 90,000 times 10 divided by 12, that is equal to 75,000. 80,000 times 6 divided by 12, that is equal to 40,000. Ito 0. So 330 plus 75 plus 40, this is equal to 445,000. Letter C for illustration number 2. Madali lang itong basic earnings per share. O, next illustration natin. Illustration number 3. Sabi sa illustration number 3, ang hinahanap, what is the number of weighted average share lang ulit? Okay, so January 1, practice lang tayo ng practice. January 1, shares outstanding 1,250,000, that is times 12 over 12. Shares issued 200,000 times ilang April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, that's 9 times 9 over 12. October, nag-issue ka daw bumili ka daw in a treasury share. Alam mo yan, treasury share natin na yan, deduction yan, tama? O magdideduct ka ngayon dyan. Ilang months yan? October, November, December, times 3 over 12. Tapos, sabi daw, nag-issue ka daw ng 100% share dividend. Uy, kung nag-issue ako ng 100% share dividend, ibig sabihin, na doble lahat ng shares ko in the previous months. So, lahat ito times 2 tayo dito. O, diba? Ganun lang. Retrospective yan. Share dividend. O, kumpitin natin. 1,250,000 times 12 over 12 times 2. This is equal to 2,500,000. Tapos, 200,000 times 9 divided by 12 times 2. That is equal to, or 200,000 times 9 divided by 12. 200,000 times 9 divided by 12 times 2. That is equal to 300,000. And then, treasury share, 100,000 times 3 divided by 12 times 2, that is equal to 50,000. 2.5 plus 300,000 less 50,000, that is equal to 2,750,000. Letter C for illustration number 3. Diba? Sinartcut ko na lang kasi ginamit ko ng M plus and M minus. Okay, kailangan makasanayan mo din yun. Kasi importante din yun sa calculators natin. Okay, magamit mo yung function ng calculators natin. Illustration number 4. Sige. Illustration number 4, sabi naman dyan, question number 1, what amount should be reported as basic earnings per share? Ayun, mag-basic earnings per share na tayo. Balikan mo lang ulit yung formula natin. Ano yung basic earnings per share? That is equal to the profit or loss less the preferred dividends divided by the weighted average number of outstanding shares. Okay? So dito, sabi daw, January 1, 2019, Shane Company had 100,000 ordinary shares outstanding. 2019 daw, March 1, reacquired 3,000 shares outstanding. Meron ka na palang 100,000. So dito, 100,000 times 12 over 12. Tapos March 1, nag-reacquire ka ng 3,000 shares. So treasury share yan, deduction yan. That is 3,000 times ilan? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That is equal to 10 over 12. September, binenta mo daw yung treasury share o nagkaroon ka ng additional 3,000. 3,000, ilang months yan? September, October, November, December. That is equal to 4 over 12. And then, December 1, binenta mo daw yung 66,000 new shares mo or nagbenta ka doon ng additional 66,000 shares or nag-issue ka ng additional 66,000 shares. So, 66,000 times December, ilang months? 1 times 1 over 12. Tapos nag-report ka ng net income. O, magkano to? Magkano to? Ito pa pala. Sabi, the following transactions occurred during 2020. January 15, nag-declare ka ng nag-issue ka ng 25% share dividend. So lahat ng dividends mo in the previous years is kailangan mong magdagdag ng 25%. So lahat ito times 125%. Lahat yan times 125%. So magkano tayo ngayon dito? 100,000 times 12 over 12 times 1.25. This is equal to 125,000. 3,000 times 10 divided by 12 times 1.25. This is equal to 3,125 pero deduction. Ito, 3,000 times 10 divided by 12 times 1.25. This is equal, or 3,000 times 4 over 12 times 1.25. This is equal to 1,250, which is addition. Tapos 66,000 times 1 divided by 12 times 1.25. This is equal to 6,875. Magkano yung total mo dyan? 125,000 less 3,125 plus 1,250 plus 6,875,000. This is equal to 130,000 of average outstanding shares. Okay? Hanapin natin, 2019. O magkano 2019 natin? Magkano ba net income mo ng 2019? 2,600,000. Meron bang preferred dividends? Wala. Huwag mo nang hanapin yung wala. O divide na natin to ng average outstanding share natin of 130,000. This is equal to 2,600,000 divided by 130,000. That is equal to 20 pesos per share. Letter B for requirement number 1. Requirement number 2. What amount should be reported as basic earnings per share for 2020 naman for presentation in comparative financial statement on December 31, 2020? Dito kasi, 2019, yes, 2019 yan for 2020. Dito, 2020 for 2020. Okay? Magkano ba yung total outstanding shares natin for 2020? That is equal to 2019. Magkano ba yung total outstanding shares mo ng 2019? Huwag mong gagamitin yung 130,000 kasi average yan. Dito tayo ngayon. That is equal to 100,000 less 3,000 plus 3,000 plus 66,000. Meron ka ditong 166,000 of outstanding shares as of 2029. Tapos 2020, wala naman na. Nag-issue ka lang daw ng 25% share dividend. So that's 125%. So 166,000 times 1.25, this is equal to 207,500. O ito na yung total issued shares or outstanding shares natin. So magkano net income mo ng 2020? 4 million. So that is equal to 4 million divided by 207,500. Magkano tayo dyan? 4 million divided by 207,500. This is equal to 19.28. Letter B for requirement number 2. Diba? Ang dali lang ng earnings per share. Next. Actually, last discussion na to, or last illustration na to. Illustration number 5 and 6. Sabi sa illustration number 5, what amount should be reported as basic earnings per share if the preference shares are redeemable? What amount should be reported as basic earnings per share if the preference shares are non-redeemable? Okay, tayo dun. Sige. So sabi, Smart Company reported profit before tax of 5.8. Income tax expense is 1.5. Uy, net of income tax tayo dapat. O yung numerator mo, 5,800,000 less 1,500,000. That is equal to 5.8 less 1.5. That is equal to 4,300,000. Okay, yun na yung net income mo after tax, 4.3. Then sinabi, the entity paid during the year an ordinary dividend of 400,000 and a preferred dividend of 500,000 on the preference share. O, alam mo yung preferred dividend na yan, ima-minus natin yan. Tama? Next, the entity had 1 million peso of 5 pesos par value ordinary share in issue. Okay, so magkano ba yung outstanding shares natin? Sabi daw, 1 million pesos daw, 5 pesos na yung par value. So meron kang outstanding share of 200,000. Okay, outstanding share natin is nasa 200,000. Okay, so requirement number 1. Sabi, what amount should be reported as basic earnings per share if the preference shares are redeemable? O, yung redeemable preference shares kasi natin, if you can recall, redeemable preference shares are considered as debt securities. Okay, debt securities yan. So, utang yan. So, kapag utang yan, yung dividends na binabayad mo dyan is considered as interest expense. And yung interest expense na yan, ang assumption mo dyan, kasama na yan doon sa profit or loss. Naibawas mo na yan sa profit or loss. So kung considered siya as interest expense rather than dividends, hindi mo na kailangang i-minus yan sa 4,300,000. Actually, yes, kailangan mong i-minus yan. Pero ang assumption, since interest expense yan, naibawas na natin yan dito sa profit natin, sa net income natin. So dito sa requirement number 1, ang gagawin mo lang dyan, that is simply 4,300,000 divide it by the outstanding share of 200,000. This is equal to 4.3 divided by 200,000. That is equal to 21.5% or 21.5 pesos, letter A for requirement number 1. Sa requirement number 2 naman daw, non-redeemable. So that's the normal preference share. So hindi siya considered as debt securities. So hindi considered as interest expense yung dinistribute sa kanya. So it is considered as dividends. So anong gagawin natin? Yung net income mo ay alisin mo muna yung share ng dividends, which is nasa 500,000. So, tapos i-divide na natin dun sa ordinary share outstanding natin na 200,000. So, that is equal to 4.3 less 500 divided by 200. This is equal to 19 pesos. Number 2, letter B. No, diba? Tandaan mo na lang yung difference nung redeemable preference share and non-redeemable. Kapag silent ang problem, hindi sinabi kung redeemable or non-redeemable ang preference shares, it is considered as non-redeemable. Yung mga discussion natin last meeting, non-redeemable lahat yun. Okay, redeemable preference share, it is considered as debt securities ulit. Kaya yung nare-receive nila is considered as interest expense. Okay, last illustration number 6. Ito na yung nagpapalito. I-recall ko lang ulit. Sige, basahin muna natin question. Sabi, on January 1, 2019, Excel Company had 600,000 ordinary shares outstanding. During 2019, the entity issued right to acquire 1 ordinary share at 10 pesos in the ratio of 1 new share for every 4 shares outstanding. Ano yung 10 pesos? That is the exercise price. 4 shares outstanding, yan daw yung kapalit. Tandaan mo na lang, meron kang 4 shares outstanding for each share. Okay, the market value of the ordinary share immediately prior to the rights issued is 35 pesos. This is the right on. The rights were exercised on October 1, 2019. So, October 1, 2019, ilang months yan? October, November, December, 3 months tayo dito. The net income for the year is 8.550. What amount should be reported as the basic earnings per share? So, merong exercise price, merong issued rights, merong stock rights. So, balikan natin yung formula. What is the formula? Sabi natin, yung formula natin dyan is the fair value of shares right on divided by the fair value of shares X right. Okay, wherein times the outstanding shares before the stock right. Or, and wherein yung fair value of X right, pwede mo siyang computin as the fair value of shares right on less the value of 1 right divided by the fair value of X right. Okay, hindi ko na ginamit. So, dalawa yung method natin na meron kang or. Yes, ito. Medyo komplikado ito, kaya hindi ko ginamit yan. Dito ako nag-focus. Dito and dito. Okay, so gamitin natin para lang mas ma-apply natin. Magkano ba yung fair value of shares right on natin? Magkano ba yung fair value of shares right on natin? Nandiyan ba? Magkano? Fair value of shares right on? 35 pesos. So, lagay mo na dito, 35. Divided by the fair value of shares X right. Hahanapin natin. Paano mo hahanapin yung X right natin dito? So, that is the fair value of shares right on less the value of 1 right. So, magkano yung fair value of shares right on mo ulit? 35 pesos. I-less mo daw yung value of 1. Hindi mo pa na alam yung value of 1. Paano mo kukumpitin yung value of 1? Ito daw yung formula natin. That is the fair value of shares right on ulit, which is 35, minus the subscription price. Magkano subscription price? 10. Divided by the number of shares to purchase 1 share, yung 4 shares, plus 1, which is constant. Magkano yan? 35 minus 10 divided by 5. That is equal to 5. So, yung value of 1 natin is 5 pesos. So, yung fair value of X right is nasa 30 pesos. So, dito, nasa 30 pesos tayo. Okay? Ilang shares yung outstanding natin? Nasa 600,000 shares times 600,000. Okay, ganyan yun. Ito yun, times outstanding shares before stock rights. And ilang months outstanding yung ordinary share natin na yan? That's 9 months. Kasi by 3 months, nagkaroon ng movement. So, that is times 9 over 12. Tapos nagkaroon ka ng additional share. Magkano yung additional share natin dito? Sabi daw, ang kapalit ng isang share natin is nasa 4 shares. 4 shares. So that is equal to 1 share for each 4 shares. So 4 shares So, kung 600,000 yung issued share natin, magbibigay ka ng additional 4 share size or additional isang share sa 4 na shares. So, that is divided by 4, that is equal to 150,000. So, nagkaroon ka ng additional share of 150,000. So, yung ginamit kong method, yung isang method, yung medyo komplikado na method sa pag-average. So, dito, ang gagamitin mo, cumulative method. So, magkano na yung total shares ba natin? Dito, 600,000. 600 plus 150 na movement, that is equal to 750,000. So, times lang tayo dito ulit ng 750,000. Ilang months yung movement? 3 months times 3 over 12. So, this is the average. So, hanapin na natin. 600,000 times 35, yung adjustment factor natin, divided by 30, times 9 divided by 12, yung pag-average natin. That is equal to 525,000. Tapos ito, 750,000 times 3 divided by 12, that is equal to 187,500. I-total mo lang yan, that is equal to 712,500. Yan yung total outstanding shares natin na naka-average. Magkano yung net income natin? Ito na, 8,550,000. So that is equal to 8,550,000 divided by 712,500. This is equal to 8,550 divided by 712.5. This is equal to 12 pesos per share, letter B for illustration number 6. And that concludes our discussion with regards to basic earnings per share. Okay, ito lang yung medyo komplikado, yung illustration number 6 na konting tiis lang naman yan. Kailangan mo lang i-memorize yung formulas natin. Okay, so yun lang. Sana may natutunan ka. Good luck, God bless, and ciao!